As darkness fell on Sunday, Typhoon Noru brought gusts of up to 240 kilometres per hour and destruction to the Philippines.
The water rose during the night while people were asleep.
The Category 3 typhoon slammed into the Quezon province before barrelling across the main Luzon region in the country's north.
Our belongings are underwater and destroyed.
As day broke, stranded residents were forced to wade through waist-deep water in search of food, clean water and medicine.
My house has 2 levels and the water reached the 2nd floor. Even our local market is completely submerged.
The Philippines experiences around 20 tropical storms each year. This was the most powerful since January. But assessing the damage from high above, the president believes it could have been much worse.
I think it's clear from from what we did these last 2 days is that very, very important is preparation. Get people out of the areas of danger.
In preparation for the powerful storm, thousands of people, many from coastal communities, were evacuated. Flights to and from Manila were cancelled and ferry services suspended. On Monday, the sun came out as the storm moved over the South China Sea. But school classes, the stock market and government work were suspended in the capital and surrounding areas as communities began to clean up from the fatal storm. Sarah Jane Bell, ABC News.
For more, I'm joined by multimedia reporter with Rappler, Jairo Bolledo. Good to have you with us, Jairo. Give us a sense of the damage this typhoon has left behind.
Yeah. Basically, in the Philippines, we were hit by the Typhoon or Noru, with its international name. Based on the statistics and data provided by our National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, at least 5 people have died and 6 are still missing as of 4 p.m. today, September 26. Basically, based on the information from our Supreme Court, majority of the courts in the areas affected by the typhoon are all right, except for a certain province, which is in Nueva Ecija, which is one of the most hit provinces in our country. In terms of agriculture, the Department of Agriculture says that at least 141 million worth of crops and agricultural products were affected by the typhoon. In the Philippines, most of the areas that were hit are from the mainland Luzon, particularly the 8 regions of Luzon. And in Luzon, the most badly hit provinces are Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, and Aurora. And the recorded deaths were from Bulacan so far, the 5 rescuers.
Now, what are the challenges that face? You say the worst is probably over now, but what are the challenges that now face authorities in those regions?
Yeah. It's practically going there to help the people in need, especially that some people are still in the evacuation centers. In the Philippines, we have this problem with logistics and communication during typhoon and other calamities. It has been the practice of our government to go to the area right after the aftermath or right after the onslaught of whatever calamity. Fortunately, we have preemptive measures, but unfortunately, in certain parts, like in Nueva Ecija and in Bulacan provinces, these are provinces located near in Metro Manila, the country's capital. Many are still in the evacuation centers, while many were still staying in their houses. So they were rescued right after the aftermath of the typhoon. So practically, the main problems are their houses, food, shelters, and clean clothes for the affected population.
Yeah. It seems as President Marcos, which is, of course, the first major incident like this that his government has dealt with, has come in for some criticism. Is the government doing enough? I mean, as you point out, the Philippines is well used to these kind of terrible storms that pass through.
Of course, it has been decades since we were named as part of the Pacific Rim of Fire. So basically, storms are going in and out of our country, and earthquakes and other calamities. Unfortunately, I think these criticisms are valid because our president just came from the United Nations General Assembly during the weekends, and he flew back to the Philippines just on Sunday morning. And he just had his meeting with other cabinet secretaries earlier today, this morning, in the country's capital to collect updates from different agencies. And practically, when he asked about the social welfare development of our country, the social welfare head told him that a certain part of a province hit by the typhoon is yet to be helped by the government. So practically, the supposed food aid it went to the area a day after the aftermath. So basically, these are the criticisms to the Marcos government.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be need for international assistance this time round?
Basically, it's hard to say as early as now because we have a problem here on communication, of course, information from the local government agencies. For example, the death toll is not updated because the national agency, which is the NDRMC, still collates data from its regional offices. So it's really hard to say and hard to assess the scope of the storm. But if we're going to compare it to other storms, it's not that destructive, and the death toll is much lower compared to Typhoon Odette, which devastated our country last year. Practically, I think, not speaking for the government, but for the Filipino people as well, I think any help from the international community is very much welcome, especially that the Philippines would really need it after this typhoon.
Yeah. Jairo, appreciate you joining us tonight, and good luck in the days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much.